Welcome to Essential Money Talks on the 21st of June, 2022. Wow. Okay. So today, I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to talk about until I had a 6 a.m. appointment with Alice Watts from Florida. And she is a content marketing writer for retirement plan professionals. So I had spoken to her before and we were catching up again. And she said that she wrote this article and we're discussing, and she mentioned the sandwich generation. And I thought, oh, yes, I understand. And as she talked about it, I said, oh, that's what I'm going to speak about today in my Essential Money Talks is, do you feel like you are in the middle of the sandwich and that you're kind of struggling between lots of financial obligations? So I'm going to refer to her parts of her article today. And I will put a link down below so that you can get her full article that, and she's in LinkedIn, Alice Watts. And so here we go. So it's called the sandwich generation, and for good reason. Children below and parents above, stressed out caregivers in the middle. Now, for my age, I'm in my 50s and still have children below me. I mean, most of them are adults, but sometimes they still are dependent on me. And then we have our parents. And so we have needs that we have for our parents. And so they call the sandwich generation those who have people on the older than them and those who have ones younger than them and helping out financially. So the traditional sandwich generation are adults 40, early 40s or 50s, sandwiched between their elderly parents and the adult children who need assistance, often financial. Then there's the club sandwich generation, which is your older adults, 50s or 60s, wedged between aging parents, adult children, and possibly grandchildren. It also can be referred to young adults with children, elderly parents, and aging grandparents. And then the third type of sandwich is the open-faced sandwich generation. Anyone who's involved in elder care on a non-professional basis and that find themselves in this point of their lives. So the young baby boomers and Gen Xers know this well. They tend to be caught in the middle of two generations, the traditional sandwich generation and the millennials racing to join them. So 40% of adults in their 40s and 50s who have living parents age 65 or older are either raising a child under 18 or supporting a grown child. And 15% of middle-aged adults are providing financial support to both an aging parent and a child. So, whoa, yes, that is sadly becoming more common, that you're trying to get your finances in order and support yourself, but then you're having to assist your aging parents and your children who are dependent, or sometimes they're adults, but they're still needing some assistance. So no wonder the baby boomers and Gen Xers are having a difficult time financially, whether it's saving for retirement or staying afloat once they retired. And surprisingly, it's not the aging parents are putting the most pressure on the sandwich generation members. It's coming primarily from the grown children. So do you have children who are not financially self-reliant, who are still requiring and coming to you for money to support their lifestyle? It's really important, especially as the meat in the middle of the sandwich, is we need to have boundaries. And it starts back from one, we need to teach our children about money. We have to, from a young age, teach them about money, teach them how to manage their money when they get their first jobs so that they can learn to become self-reliant themselves, so that they can have that satisfaction. And then for us, we need to ensure that we are thinking long-term and planning for our older years or our retirement so that we don't become a burden on our children. And so if you can see, we have three separate kind of generations. And the ideal is that each of them are becoming financially self-reliant. It says, people are living longer. And why is there that increased pressure on the people in the middle? It's because people are living longer and they're waiting longer to have children. The job market has become difficult for young people coming out of college, and they haven't had the money to live on their own. And so they're moving back home, or called boomerang kids. Retirement costs are increasing with longevity. And so people are living longer. And so what the amount they had for retirement maybe years ago was enough, but today it's not, because we're living longer due to increased health care, housing insurance, and long-term care and other things. The result is many are struggling to get by on salaries once thought to be plenty. Some succeed and some don't. There's usually about 78% of Americans and Australians who are living paycheck to paycheck. And so if the ones in the middle, the meat in the sandwich, are living paycheck to paycheck, then it's putting more stress on them to support their adult children or their younger children and their parents. I just want to welcome, say hello to Mary and V and Reg, and thank you for joining. And I'd love to hear any comments, or if anything that I say today resonates with you. So personally, financial wellness has lagged behind as an apparent success. Americans and Australians are worried about their finances, and it spills over into every aspect of their life. I always say, if you money makes your world go round, or it makes it go pear-shaped. And so we have to take total control of our finances so that it goes round and not pear-shaped. And also to not allow others to implement or impose on us. We need to have those boundaries. And also people are struggling from COVID-19. Many didn't have the savings that when that happened. And then, they had layoffs or reduced hours. And so that caused many people to borrow money. Others did their last resort, if they had it, and that was in their 401k for the Americans, or their superannuation for the Australians, that they were withdrawing money from their long-term, which was meant for their retirement, just to actually live now. So the stress, this all takes on stress. And so financial stress can be overwhelming. Add to that the stress of being a caregiver. Okay. And it's a recipe for anxiety, sleeplessness, and health issues as well. The solution is to be good to yourself. Take care of yourself and have that dreaded money talk with those family members that you are sandwiched between and caring for. Parents need to talk about their financial resources and expectations, such things as health insurance, wills, long-term care arrangements, funerals, and burial expenses. Adult children need to understand that living at home is no free lunch, that they're expected to contribute financially to the families and paying rent and other financial assistance. Everyone would be happier because of it if everyone was more self-reliant. And also, communication is really important. When you're the meet in the middle, you have to have that open communication. Otherwise, you will build up some resentment. in research reported that 31% of sandwich generation members were reported to be very happy with their lives. And some were pretty happy. But despite the stress of caring for two generations, most of this sandwich generations thinks their lives were meaningful and happy. So it can work. And in a lot of cultures, that's what happens is what you do is you take care of your aging parents. And of course, you take care of your children. But I know I had a 17-year-old girl, and I helped her with creating a spending plan because she wanted to be independent. She wanted to be financially self-reliant in doing that. And that made her feel so great that she was able to do that rather than totally relying on her parents. So what do we do about it? Well, first, you have to be good to yourself and save for your own retirement. Saving for retirement is always a struggle. There are multitudes of shiny objects to buy and to see or to visit, even more so while struggling financially for parents and children. So take care of yourself first. Have a plan for the future. Fund your retirement before your child's college. Okay, there again, teach them the ethical work. They can work. Don't give things so that they receive and get that sense of entitlement. Have a realistic budget, or as I teach, a spending plan, and set financial boundaries for children living at home. Make sure they pay their way. Don't enable them so that when they do go out, that they don't know the full truth of what it costs to live. So we need to fund our retirement in the future. And a couple weeks ago, we had a financial planner, Chris Chand, and he talked about the importance of seeing a financial planner. It's free to go. Usually the first consultation is free. Go and talk to a financial planner, and so that you can make plan now as early as you can, so that you can see what you need to do to get yourself a secure retirement. Because the longer and the sooner you start on your retirement, the better it is. Unfortunately, there's many who just think at 55, they start to think, oh, it's 10 years before I retire. I better think about it and start saving. At that point, you have to be really aggressive. And usually at that point, you're caring for elderly parents or maybe some children, and you don't have that extra cash. And so by putting money away early on and just making that's just money I need, that's a priority, that's an essential, I need to put money away for that. So do as much as you can now, and you won't have to put retirement off to address the sandwich issues. When it's time for you to retire, fingers crossed, everything, because you made your plan and you taught your children how to create a plan and become self-reliant, that you will be able to enjoy a financial stress-free retirement. And so, I found that really interesting. And so I'm going to see if there's any comments or questions. So where are you in the sandwich? Are you the bread on one side or the bread on the other side, or are you the sandwich in the middle? It's important to have a plan. You need to make a plan so that you can create your own financial security, but also educate, especially your children, so that they don't become a burden. And it's so that they too can feel the achievement. Okay. Anytime that we do something on our own, we feel great achievement. And so educate your children. I have an online course, Kids and Money. It's the 17 money truths to teach your kids before they're 18 or leave home. Now, those 17 money truths, many adults may not know. And so I even encourage that, is to learn that basic financial literacy so that you can teach it to your children so that they can be in a position to take care of themselves once they leave home at a reasonable age. And it's also good for anyone is to learn those basic things. No, and as long as we're breathing, it is an opportunity to better educate ourselves about financial literacy and do better. And so no matter which end you're on, look at ways that you can improve so that you're not putting stress on another. I know it's interesting because when we were raising our 5 children, that's when you need the big house. That's when you need the big car. Yet that's when it's the most expensive time and you're still kind of working to set things up. Yet by the time you're older, you have the big house, you have the car, but you don't have the children anymore. And so it doesn't kind of seem fair that we need the big things earlier on in life when we really have the money later in life. But that's what it is. And my biggest tip is live within your means. Okay. If you can't, you need to plan what you need and think long-term, save for it, and then spend, and only spend what you have saved for. And if that means that's a secondhand car or an older secondhand car, then that's fine. That's because the last thing we want to do is get into debt personally, so that if we do need to help out the other piece, the breads on either side, then at least we have that opportunity. And it is a great blessing to be able to help out those your children if a real need comes in, as well as your aging parents. What I would caution is not to give too much, as I say, luxury things away to either side, because then that can create a sense of entitlement. And so, but yeah, being able to give is a great reason why you want to be financially self-reliant, because many blessings come from being able to help someone out. And so that's my message today is, where are you in the sandwich? What can you do to set your boundaries, to create your own financial security so that you can be of service if you need to help out those above or below you. Next week, I will be in transit to the United States. And so we'll see how we go. We may have, but we'll still have a live. It may be a pre-recorded one, or it might be live wherever I'm at. And so if you have any topics and things that you would like us to discuss, then please put them in the comments below so that we can address those things. I love to learn. So if it's not something I know myself, then I will find an expert to come in and to talk about that. So just saying that is, communication is so important. When you are dealing with finances and helping out your children or your parents, make sure you have those open communications. And because that's really important, so that it can be, like the statistic said, that you can be, if you are the meat in the middle, that you can be pretty happy in that situation because you have that open communication. Okay, so that is it for today, Essential Money Talks, and choose financial freedom this week. Bye-bye.